All right, so good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to one more session of talent management. Uh, I just hope all of you have had your lunch. Everyone who's there, Vinod, Sunil, Advani, Oindrila, and are comfortable, will be fully present for next 1.5 hours. So, what is it that you guys have done from the last week? Last Sunday to this Sunday, anything on the talent management, anything on the syllabus? Is there specific thing that you read or anything that you have been working on? Sunil?
My books are not there, so I would just revise the class. That's all.
Your books are not there, meaning you have not carried your books wherever you are. Is that what you're saying?
Yet to come. My books are yet to come.
Okay, all right. Okay, so what's your understanding of 9-box grid? Anybody who's here can answer that question. Since you have been already taught this subject, what's your understanding of 9-box grid? Oindrila, would you have an idea?
I tried like
Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. You're audible, but your voice is breaking. Yeah, can you repeat?
Yes, am I on now? But
It's breaking, but you can still try speaking.
okay, this 9-box grid is basically used for talent mapping as far as my information goes. Based on candidates' potential and performance, the rating can be done. They can be placed under 9-box based there, rating on performance. So, and based on that, bell curve can be drawn open and so on and so forth. Eventually, the steps can be taken forward for talent management. This is basically for talent mapping, used for talent mapping.
Okay, so you're partially right. You're partly right, Oindrila. This is not used for bell curve. Okay, bell curve is a different exercise. Most of the times done for performance appraisal, right? Some people might say the way you put these three categories, that is low performer, medium performer, and high performer. Some people use it the way it is done in bell curve, but it's not. It doesn't lead to bell curve, right? So basically, this is a tool that is. Your voice is breaking, so you will have to come in a good network. It's I don't know if you are able to hear me, but we can't hear you. All right, so talent. So basically, 9-box grid is used for talent management. Okay, in a smaller organizations, people may not use 9-box grid because if you have handful of people, it's not really required to put them in boxes, right? And people say that we are human beings, and why put people in boxes? So there are limitations of 9-box grid, and at the same time, for larger organization, for bigger organization, it makes a lot of sense for you to have some structure to the way you do talent management, right? So all of you might have seen the grid, the talent management, the 9-box model. I can share the screen. There are various ways of putting the 9-box grid. Different people put it differently, right? So some people put it differently, the others put it differently, and it all depends on every author, every writer will put it separately. So you don't really have to get worried in terms of how will it look like, and whether whatever I'm doing is the correct way of putting it, and things like that, right? Now, as you can see, can you see? Okay. On the x-axis you have performance, on the y-axis you have potential, right? So performance is something that you're aware of, right? Performance that comes out of your performance management system. Is that right? I will need some sort of response so that I understand that you are listening. I know that you're listening.
Yes, ma'am.
Otherwise, it's just one way
Yes,
dialogue.
ma'am.
Yeah, I don't want this to be a one way lecture. Thanks.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So on the x-axis, we have performance. On the y-axis, we have potential, right? Now we mix and match the performance and potential, and we see where are employees. People who are low performers and people who are low potential. What do we do with them? The people with moderate performance and moderate potential, what happens to them? And people with high performance and high potential, right? What is next for them? Because yeah, they are already there. So these are all questions that one must ask while preparing this. So your purpose, objective of creating 9-box grid should be very, very clear. And if that's not clear, then it becomes very difficult for one to understand. And Jagannath, we can keep your questions to the last unless you have some basic question.
Sure. Thank you.
Anything urgent that you need to ask?
No. I just wanted to mention that again, performance can be data backed, data driven. Data is available which can be put into the performance measurement. But how about the potential? How you will
Jagannath,
gauge
you
or
need to
assess
hold
the
your
potential of
questions because I have
your
not.
employee? Thank you.
Yeah. So hold your curiosity. We've just started. We are not even 1 minute into the 9-box grid.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
Yeah. So okay. So Jagannath, what's your understanding of 9-box grid? What have you understood?
Pardon?
What's your understanding of 9-box grid?
9 boxes grid. I have studied also, read about it. We have discussed little with Dr. Poonam also.
Yeah.
My question is how to gauge the potential, how to assess the potential of any employee. That is,
So
I
I
am
heard your
more
question.
curious about.
I heard your question. I wanted to understand your understanding of 9-box grid.
Yeah, it is typically meant for the succession planning as to who can be your next leader in case of there any vacancy arises. For that, we are preparing these 9 boxes, and the box numbers are given according to the priority that we will be choosing this employee. And again, we are talking about the potential, not the performance. So it is meant for succession planning. That is my understanding. Thank you very much.
Sure. And what was told to you as to how do we gauge the performance potential in your previous class?
No.
Sorry?
No, I said no. I said no.
No. So did you ask this question?
I asked the question, but my question is how to judge the potential of any employee.
Yeah. No. I am
Performance
asking you,
is-
did you ask this question to Miss Poonam
No.
Jindal?
I didn't ask the question to madam. Somehow I realized it as to I was just trying to learn that concept, and now I realize that this is very difficult or maybe little tricky to know the potential of any employee.
Okay. I just wanted to know. I'm curious. Okay. So out
Yeah.
of curiosity, I'm asking this question since most of you said that you want to understand 9-box grade. Is this
Correct.
question has come on in any of the question papers? Since I don't have access to any of the question papers at the moment.
No.
Has
Even
this come
9
in any
boxes
question
question I
paper?
didn't find in any of the question papers. I have read all the question papers, but 9 boxes I don't think I don't recall at least where I have come across with this type.
Oh, okay. Since all of you asked about asked about 9-box grade, I thought it's there in any of the question papers. Since it's your high, since I think most of you spoke about it, I thought maybe it's there appearing in some question papers. But anyways, we'll talk about it. See, what you need to understand is the basics. Okay, so when we say talent management, our fundamentals of talent management must be clear. And there will be various tools that will be available. So 9-box grid, 9-box model is one of them, where you get an idea about where are your employees in terms of potential and performance in the organization. So where you have thousands of employees, it becomes very difficult for the human resources function or the leadership team to understand how is my organization overall. Where are they on performance? Where are they on potential? And it's okay not to know about the potential measurement at this moment. We will talk about this for sure. But what is important is that this is just one of the tools for talent management. So that you know, it gives us visual depiction of where are employees in terms of potential and performance. Performance, we know that we have data, right? We have performance data. Potential, there are various ways of doing it. There are assessments available in the market. There are various assessments, including Aon, Spotlight, they have, and on basis various competencies, they arrive at the score, some kind of score, and those scores can be put in the 9 boxes. The other way of doing it is there are assessment centers also which are conducted by which you could know the potential of the employees. But most of the times, what is said is that there is also this generally it matches the scores of the assessments match with what the reporting managers have to say. If the reporting manager says that he or she has a potential, in all probability it will match with whatever assessments you may conduct, right? So not all organizations would be able to afford assessments. Some organizations might question the assessment itself, that whether the assessment will be accurate in judging the potential, or human beings are in a best position to arrive at the potential. Someone who has worked with an employee for, let's say, years together, that person would be in a better position to let the organization know whether this person has the potential or not. Right? So, for example, Sunil, how many years you worked with current organization?
2 years.
2 years. Okay. Now, let's say you have reported into somebody for last 2 years. That person will know the performance of Sunil, what is his potential, whether he is ready to go to the next level, what can he do, what he cannot do, right? So the organizations also ask for data from the reporting managers, from the teams, and ask them to rate employees on, let's say, 3 levels of potential: low, medium, high. And there are organizations which conduct the assessments, right? And that is how you arrive at low, medium, and high potential, right? Performance, anyways, you have the data. Now, let's look at the slide, right? Low potential and low performance. What do we do with this kind of employee? Anyone? Somebody who's not performing, and somebody who doesn't seem to have the potential also. What does this mean exactly? What, according to you, comes to your mind when you look at this kind of grid or this part of the grid?
It could be like a wrong hire for the respective position. We have to replace.
It could be wrong hire, that the person might be wrongly put in that position and he is not really qualified or capable for doing that job. So not necessary that you let the employee go every time. It is also possible that you may put that person in some other position. These days, it's not easy to hire people and just let them go, right? So there is a lot of emphasis on retention. You might have read that in the retention. a topic on retention, that you rather see whether the organization has some other position where this person will fit. Otherwise, of course, you have to let the person go, right? But if it is a mistake from the hiring manager, from the organization, we do not want the employee to suffer, right? So low performer, low potential. So the person neither is performing nor has the potential to go ahead in the next level. So that's one part. Now let's come to moderate part. Moderate performance and low potential. What do we do with such people? What does it signify? Moderate performance and low potential. What does it signify? What comes to your mind?
Many times it can be situational also. Means the person may not be capable of, but sometimes means even we find in our marketing scenario many times windfall situation may arise, and you may find you such a well performer, but the person really does not have that potential. But that also happens. Of course, we are talking about the moderate, but even that happens in case of high performance also. It may not be that person's contribution, it may be the team's contribution, or it may be the circumstantial contribution, market forces, so on and so on. Thank you.
So, my response to this would be that it is not necessary that everybody in the entire organization needs to be dealt with differently just by looking at the 9-box grid. Like I said, it gives us some idea, some tool to look at the whole thing, look at everything, look at all employees in the holistic manner. But it's not necessary that somebody is moderate performer and low potential. We have to really do something, अगले 1 महीने में कुछ करना है, नहीं तो problem हो जाएगा, nothing like that, right? What if we did not have a 9-box? How would you? We have to also think about it in that time. How would we have dealt with it, with that person? Right? It's possible the person is performing moderately and we are okay with that. Right? Now, what is important is that for all the employees in this 9-box grid, either you will, other than taking some action or putting them in, let's say one option is that we put some people for training and development program, either a basic skills training or a development program, long-term development program. That's one way of doing it. The other is, which is people part of it, is that mentor them or coach them, guide them, advise them, counsel them, whatever required. So that's another way of doing it. Sometimes person may be just going through something in their life, personal life, and that may be affecting their performance. So though the potential is on the higher side, person may be a low performer. As you can see in the grid, which is low performance and high potential, there could be various reasons why the person is on the is not performing but has high potential. It could be again wrong, a management trainee hired from somebody somewhere, put into the wrong job. That's one way of looking at it. Or some person may be really going through something. So it's important to have that dialogue with the person. And there are 2-3 things, like I said, coaching and mentoring, that should be something that should be given to all employees. Now, person with low on skills and high on will. Okay, there is something called skill and will matrix, where we generally decide whether the person needs mentoring or whether the person needs coaching. Yeah. So wherever the skill is on the lower side, we train people, we mentor people, guide them. They need advice. But where the will is on the lower side, what do we do? So whether it's up to the reporting manager, the heads of the departments, to take a decision depending on whether the willpower is missing, whether the skills are missing, what is it that is missing. So we do not apply 9-box grid blindly. But of course, we reward the high performers. There is a star towards the extreme right-hand side, upper right-hand side. High potential, high performers. Now, if you don't take care of these employees, what will happen? These people will leave the organization. Okay? High potential, high performance. You have to make sure that they are relevant, they are motivated, they are engaged. So you have to go outside the 9-box grid and think about what can be done for these people. Give them additional projects. There are some people who thrive on work, who are workaholics, who wants to go to next level. They will do anything and everything required to get the job done. They want to go to next level. They want promotions. They want higher increment. They want higher salary. Ji jaan laga denge kind of thing. They will do everything, whatever required to make sure that the work happens. Not only they surpass the expectations, they exceed the expectations, but they go much higher than what is required out of them, and also impact the organization's performance overall. So there are these star performers with high potential. You have to make sure that give them some additional projects and give them freedom. They are kind of entrepreneur for that project. Of course, you have to watch them, you have to keep guiding them, but take a helicopter view, don't micromanage. So all these people, high potentials and high performers, you have to make sure that you don't micromanage them. Right? That's something that you have to make sure. Now there are high performers and with low potential. Now, what does it mean? These people are extremely hardworking people. They will put in a lot of efforts. They know they don't have the potential. They will always be high performers, but they may not have the potential to go to the next level. They may not have the leadership capability. But you have to make sure that they also remain with the organization. They are solid performers. And see what is required to them. Ask them what will help them, coach them, because they're already high performers. So see what else can be done for these people. Coaching will help to a great extent in this. So these are valuable employees. You must have them, right? Now, like I said very clearly, that not necessary that we have to take a decision on every person in the 9-box grid. It is not possible. So let's say I have 1 lakh employees, or I have 10,000 employees, or I have 50,000 employees. What do? We generally make sure that everybody in the organization go through some kind of training program, some kind of coaching, some kind of mentoring, or some kind of development program, right? And which is why so this is 9-box grid, but we also put everybody on kind of an Excel where we put down on one hand all the levels, right? On the other hand, we put all the ratings and see top performers are getting what kind of training or development program. The low performers are getting handheld. There is a hand holding to the low performers, making sure that they don't quit the organization. They may be relevant, they may be required for something else. There are jobs which do not need you to be a star performer, and there are people, and somebody needs to do that job, right? Not necessary that all the jobs that you do in the organization are kind of there are some jobs which are considered as everybody wants to do. It's a talent management. These days, diversity, inclusion, a lot of people are interested in, right? Leadership development. There are certain roles in the organization which a lot of HR people might aspire to do. But there are roles, let's say HR operations, payroll. There are people who you need for audit, yeah, and taking care of payments and things like that. You need people who may not have the high potential, but they are good performers. They are able to take pressure. of the load of work. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So we have to, when we look at 9-box grid, we have to make sure that we take care of all employees in the organization by whatever means, and whether training and development, what is required, whether the person needs training or whether the person needs development, long-term development. There are high performers um, who have the potential to go to the next level. So we put them in the long-term development program. It's a 1-year long-term development program, 2-year long-term development program. So they remain engaged with the organization. They are there with us. Keep doing something. Every month they will have something to do. They go through a residential training program. They go through, next they may go through a coaching. The next they may go through a mentoring. Next they may go through something, some kind of project or assignment. They will keep doing something throughout there. So on one hand, they are high performers. They will keep performing. On the other hand, they are engaged. They feel that the organization is taking care of them in terms of their development. Right? So different people needs to be dealt with differently. So while L&D and talent management and human resources function will keep doing something or the other, it is the responsibility of the line manager also to make sure that they learn something. They are taken care of. Every reporting manager, every line manager is a HR manager for their team. Do you agree with me? Because HR cannot reach. Of course, HR needs to take care of all employees. There are calls that keep happening. There are connects that keep happening. They regularly keep in touch with employees. All kinds of things are there. But who's the one who's closest to the employee? On a daily basis, the reporting manager, the team members, and others in the department are work closely with them. Yeah, Sunil, you have a question?
Yes. Now, if we consider performance and potential as two
Jagannath,
virtues or two characteristics of
Sunil has
our
asked a
employee.
question for the first time.
Yeah, yeah.
No, no, please
And
complete,
so,
Jagannath ji.
Yeah, Sunil.
Go ahead.
and so, if we consider this performance as quantitative and potential as qualitative measure or trait, personality trait, then in
Jagannath,
just last one section. Yes, yes. Yes, madam.
no, I was saying Sunil has asked question for the first time, so I wanted him to ask the question.
Okay, okay. Sorry.
Ma'am, I just wanted to understand the correlation between scalable matrix and 9-box grid, how they are interrelated.
No, so see, skill will matrix and 9-box grid, there is no interrelation. There is relation, but there is no relation. You need not talk about it. I don't know the book has talked about it or no, but skill will matrix, I gave an example because whether the person has skills and the will is missing, then you coach them. If the willpower is there and the skills are missing, you train them. Right? So
But
it just
there is
helps
some psychological aspect this scalable matrix is playing in the talent management. If you are talking about this 9-box grid,
Yeah.
depending on their skill and will only, we can place them in that respective box and we can guide and coach them. This is what I am pursuing.
Yeah. So see, Sunil, every process and system in HR is interlinked. Okay, I can't look at something separately and the other thing separately. Two things can't run parallelly, and which is why the talent management's job is to make sure that it works as a cohesive system. You take inputs from L&D, so L&D will do, let's say, training needs analysis at the beginning of the year or at the end of the year. They will give inputs to talent management. So talent management will decide now what is to be done. So then they will say L&D, okay, these are the programs these are the skills program that you need to do. These are the long-term development programs that you do. Many organizations, L&D and talent management work together. There are many organizations where they are separate, but they need to work in alignment, in sync with each other, right? Now, performance appraisals. Now, if you look at 9-box grid, the 9-box grid, the scores get into it. Right. Now, partially to answer your question, Jagannath, how do we decide on the scores for performance? There are ratings, right? How do the ratings are arrived at? How are the ratings arrived at?
Yeah, clueless. Like in our organization, how we rate the people on parameter 1 to 10. So we define the range. If he has achieved this much, then this much is the rating, and so on. Totally quantifiable. But as far as qualitative part is concerned, the personality trait maybe, or like potential we are mentioning, then whether the person, that employee, is involved in the CPD, continuous professional development, whether he is doing on his own any efforts to advance in career, to make any contributions extraordinary for the organization, so on so forth, whether he will, suppose today he is not doing due to the circumstances, whatever related to his workplace or other environment, whether he will be able to, or he has any willingness to do that. So that all potential part is there. Just in the previous session, we discussed the Johari window, and whether we can use
Jagannath,
such kind of technique
Jagannath,
to judge the potential.
Jagannath, you need to hold on because now you are going to another
Okay,
topic.
okay.
Sunil, I was answering your question. Okay. Like I said, every system in human resources is interlinked. Okay. So you take right from the first thing that you do in an organization, which is the HR strategy, which flows from business strategy, your vision, mission, values of the organization. We create HR strategy, which leads to HR strategy guides everything that we do in the organization, right? Whether it is recruitment, whether it is performance management, whether it is whatever, succession planning, everything that we do is guided by what do we want to achieve. Every organization decides karna kya hai. What do we do with the people? First of all, what do we achieve at the end of, let's say, 5 years, 3 years, or 1 year? That is what the organization decides in terms of business. Now, to achieve that, what is the kind of people strategy we need to have? What kind of people we need to have? How much do we spend on them? What do we expect from them? All of that. That will form part of our people strategy. Now, once having formed a people strategy, we decide what are the different components that in HR that we give importance to, and what are the things that we do in a year. Okay, it's very difficult to, let's say, I want to bring on some certain changes in the organization. It's very difficult to do it in a year's time. I'm giving you a long answer so you get the entire perspective. Right now, let's say, Gallup's Q12. You do the employee engagement survey in a year, you get some score. Okay. Now, the organization may repeat this survey year on year, or let's say after every 2 years or 3 years. You would definitely want to see better scores in every survey, right? So, what are the things that we do to make sure that the employees are engaged? Right now, this will give, again, whatever comes out of it will be an input to employee engagement team, will be an input to L&D team, will be an input to everybody else in HR department. So what I was trying to tell you is that everything is linked. I must know how the skill wheel works, right? Person will really, like I said, we don't even look at what the person is going through. Is the boss is treating the person, the team member well? There are 360 degrees, there are other things. So I'm not getting into too much in detail, but we have to know various things while arriving at any decisions within the organization, and to be specific HR department, which is so important, right? Because you are actually dealing with people and their lives, their professional lives. When we deal with their professional lives, it actually leads to their personal life. So it's important to have an idea about lot of these concepts. Right? This is skill and will is not only used in coaching and mentoring. There are, in general, also it's good to understand this kind of thing. But I didn't want to complicate too much, and I just stopped you there because I am not sure if it is there part of the syllabus. It's good to know but it's definitely good to know. Otherwise, you will end up mentoring somebody who needs coaching. Let's say somebody has the subject knowledge. Okay, somebody has the subject knowledge and I tried to train that person. It's of no use. The person may need coaching and not the mentoring. Mentoring meaning what? You give the advice, you give the guidance. The person will say, I don't need advice, I don't need guidance, I have complete knowledge. What I need is coaching. I am stuck somewhere, I just have lack of motivation or confidence, but I have all the required knowledge. So skill will matrix comes handy when you know whether the person lacks skills or lacks skills, and what is the right thing to do. And of course, it helps you in 9-box grade. It will help you in decision making in various things in the organization. Yeah, sure. And as far as potential is concerned, like I said, there are various assessments in the market which gives you score. Either it will be a scores number, or they may say low, medium, high. So depending on what do you choose exactly. And you don't have to go into the detail because that's not really required. That's not part of the syllabus, but it's good to know that potential also can be measured. So, and it will be same as what the reporting managers and the senior management fees mostly. I have spoken to consultants and they've said that when we were trying to do it, that why go for such costly assessment tools. You talk to the reporting managers, they will also tell you who's low potential, who's medium potential, and who's high potential. Right? I hope that answers your question, Jagannath. All right. Okay. Any questions now?
Good afternoon, madam. This is Vishwadeep. Madam, is there any tools to measurement of this potentiality of the particular candidates? Any tools?
So I think you joined late. I had told
Yes.
everybody that I will not repeat for people who join late. But anyway, there are various tools. There is SHRM, there is Jombe, there is Aeon, there is Mercer. Okay, they have various tools which help you measure potential. Okay, Aeon also has an assessment which is called Spotlight, and which they use for measuring assessment. So if you go to any of these assessment companies, whether you go to Jombe or you go to SHRM, Mercer, Aeon, all of these will have assessment tools.
Okay, thank you.
But Biswadeep, again, I hope you understood what I said. Potential is also something that you can make out when you work with the person over a period of year, for a certain period of time.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Any other questions? Any case we should take? I mean, if 9-box grid there are no questions, then can we take some case meanwhile, since we have 45 minutes? Yeah, no response. Should we do some case?
Yes.
Sure. What about others?
Yes, madam. Why not? We have 9 people, I think. 10 people.
Okay. All right. I have 2 question papers with me, and there are some case studies. Part D has questions. Case studies basically. Part D has 4 case studies, and I don't know how many you are supposed to solve. I'm just trying to see which one we should take, unless you have something in mind and you want to take up a particular case study. Any particular case study you would want to take up, or I should just take up anything?
Madam, I have a question. This is in our study material, page number 95 and 96. The size of population presented by the size of bubbles. What is how is it is correlated to that 90 this chart of the employee details and this bubbles population presented by the size of bubbles?
Sorry, what is your question?
How does it correlate it? It is there's on page number 96. There's a size of population presented by the size of bubbles. So how it is related to that particular chart? There's an employee chart is there on 95. Number 95.
Yeah. Okay, so you actually have to do something. You have to put all employees into high, low, and medium performers. Let's say you have 1 to 6 ratings. Okay, you will put let's say 1 and 2 is your higher, then they will go into the highest grade. You have to look at total number of people in that 1 to 2 ratings and then put them in the highest grade. Then you have, let's say, 3 and 4, which will go into your moderate grade. And then you have 5 and 6, which will go into lowest grade. The other way of doing it is that 1, 2 will be in the highest grade, 3 in the moderate, and 4 and 5 in the lowest, because 6 will be the people who will leave the organization. Similarly, for potential also, you have to put whatever marks you have got. Let's say potential you have put as 1, 2, 3. 1 is a high performer, 2 is a medium, and 3 is a low performer, or 3 is a high performer, 2 is a moderate, and 1 is a low performer. You have to put total number of 1s, 2s, and 3s and put them in the grade. Okay. You just have to put the number of people in the grade. High performer, high potential. All those, let's say low is, 1 is your low.
Okay.
Various organizations have different things. Some people have 1 as the highest, some people have 1 is the low. So whatever, depending on what is your way of putting it, let's say 1 is low for you. Let's say you have put potential and performance as 1 to 3. Okay. All the ratings with 1 rating, let's say, are low ratings. And you have to total all 1s and put it in the low. And all the 1s with low potential, you have to put it in the low potential. And that is how you will go on putting it in the various grades. The number of people you have to put in various grades. There are 9 box grade. We were looking at 9 box grade, Vishwadeep. And you have to put the number of people in all the 9 grades.
Okay. But in my page number 96, there's some bubbles is over there. The size of bubbles. The size of population presented by the size of bubbles.
Yeah, correct. So you have more number of people, the larger the bubble. Don't go by the bubble.
Okay.
I'm assuming the larger the number of people, the larger will be the bubble. That's what I'm assuming.
And the next diagram, there's some
the darker color bubbles have more budget assigned and all of that. So,
okay. Okay.
Yeah. In the third figure, it is visualized that the budget on development can be different for employees. Darker color. So third figure is different. So bubbles also have a different meaning. The size of the bubble depends on the size of the population in figure 2. Figure 3, the size of the population, the color matters. But Biswadeep, I was asking in the beginning whether this question has come in any exam. So the answer was no so far. So you must study it, but I hope you are studying the other chapters also.
Yes.
Did I answer your question? In the second figure, the size of the bubble represented the size of the population. The third bubble, the size of the color of the bubble represents the budget assigned.
Okay. Okay.
The darker the bubble, the more budget assigned. So you will take a call. Now organization will take a call. Which of my people need more attention or more hand holding? If you feel that the medium performers, now what do we do generally? The low performers and the high performers get a lot of attention.
Yes.
Right? High potentials because they are the star performers. We want to make sure that they remain within the organization. Low performers always because we want to retain people. We don't want our attrition number to be on the higher side. We also look at the cost of hiring and the cost of productivity loss,
Yes.
right? To make sure that we also take care of medium performers. The organization may decide sometime in the life of the organization that we want to this time give more budgets to mid performers. That is number two. Now, again, one thing that I want to tell you that what happens in the real life in talent management may be different from what happens here, what is there in the textbook, right?
Yes.
So it's possible that instead of bubble, we put it something else in the real life. The bubble smaller or bigger depending on the number of people. That is how the author has defined or given a pictorial view.
Right.
So it's the visual representation. It does not matter. What matters is that how many people we have in each of the grid.
Right. Right.
So it is it also a cause of a worry? If a particular, now I did not want to get into this, but now that you have asked this question, it is also important for the organization to know, are there too many people in the high potential, high performance grid, or are there too many people in the low performance, low potential grid? Then it's a cause of a worry. Your maximum people should be in the moderate, right? I mean, somebody talked about bell curve. I again don't want to get into bell curve, but the law of averages says that your maximum people will be average performers. Your 60-70% people will be average performers. Unless you are in an industry which, let's say, a small investment banking boutique firm, you can't, let's say you have 10-20 people, you can't afford to have low performers there. Maybe they will be all high performers, except organizations which are small and are in very niche kind of business. In an average, large scale, the bigger organization, it is not possible that everybody is high performer or everybody is low performer. If everybody was a high performer, the organization should be top in the industry. Or if everybody is a low performer, then there is something wrong. Then the organization is not doing well. So it also depends on, then you also need to worry whether these people have been assessed properly. Then this is really going in depth into 9 grade. Whether the assessment has properly, whoever has assessed, whether they have really assessed employees properly, whether there is a tendency to assess high, give higher marks, or whether there is a tendency to give lower marks or tendency to give mid performance marks. So right. So when we look at 9 box grade, we just don't look at the grade, just place people and just be happy. Oh, okay, अच्छा moderate performer है तो ये कर लो, high performer है तो ये कर लो, low performer है तो ये कर लो. No, we critically evaluate each box, each grid. What is it that the organization wants to do? Is it that they've been rated fairly? Is it that the potential has been assessed fairly? These are the questions to be asked. And then, do I want to move my high potentials to high performance also? It is not only important to have high potentials, but it also important that they perform also well. Eventually, we want to move everybody to upper side of the grid. right? We don't want people only to perform and not really go to the next level. We don't want only to people to have high potential but not perform, right? So we, over a period of time, this 9 grade also needs to be watched properly. Over a period of time, we need to make sure that the 9 grade is analyzed well. You understand, Viswadeep?
Yes, madam. Yes.
Yeah.
Actually,
Okay,
sometimes,
so
madam, I need to share just one thing. The person who are basically is a high potential but with a low performance, basically that reflects the intention, I think. Sometimes the person actually they are hiding themselves from whatever they can do, but they not want to do actually.
no, that's a wrong assumption. It is possible that the person is not in the right job.
Okay.
You can't assume that people don't want to work.
But if the person is just more than 5 years in the same domain, um, this communication may not be fit for them actually.
Yeah, absolutely. So it will depend on the situation. There are people who are passengers, right? Who will for years continue to do the same job, and that's fine. I think the organization also needs some people, right? Who wants to do. I think you've joined a little late. I think we've covered this already. That we also need people who will do operational work, who will do transactional work, and if we have high potentials, high performers who will they are not going to do this kind of work, operational work. So there will be people, and there are people in the world who are very happy doing this kind of work for years. Now, performance is different. When the person is not performing, the performance appraisal system needs to take care of them. The performance goes below the bare minimum that is required, then of course there will be action taken. The person will be given additional time to perform, come up the curve, or then leave the organization eventually. Right? That's an extreme. But otherwise, organization would want to believe that most people would want to do a good job in the organization, would want to contribute to the organization. And not necessary कि सब लोग किसी को काम नहीं करना है. No, everybody wants to work, everybody wants to do well. It's just that everybody is different. Right? Even the same fruit will differ slightly in size and shape and color. So
Yes.
no size fits all. One size doesn't fit all. So in human resources also, in talent management also, we do not apply the same formula to everybody. So we also make sure that when people take the assessment, when they are rated well, we make sure that they are rated without bias. The training happens, the coaching happens to people. They are trained to make sure that they are rated fairly. When there is assessment run in the organization, we make sure that we keep telling employees, we meaning in general the organizations tell employees that please be fair, please give your honest feedback to us, we want to improve. Whatever assessments can be with various purpose. But I am saying, what I'm saying is that it is also important for us to check what exactly are the scores, where are they in the 9-box grid, and whether they are the correct scores. And before the organization can move to this kind of thing, the organization needs to be a matured organization. We can't suddenly start doing the 9 grade without having enough training, without having enough people processes in place. Suddenly, I can't do 9-box grid and say, okay, I have understood my entire organization and this is how they look like in one piece of paper. Yeah? Does it make sense?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. But in organized sector, sometimes what happened, madam, there's a person who is with talent but not willing to do. But not only he is doing the job, even they influence to others for doing this. This is a critical situations.
You can't do anything about this. Everybody is mature in the organization. People don't get influenced. It's easy to blame others. If you feel that they are able to influence others, I would blame the others who are getting influenced, and not somebody who is influencing. Of course, the people with power might be able to influence others, but not in general. Not everybody can influence everybody. And that's okay. I think in an organization, we have better and bigger things to worry about than one individual who you have a perception that he or she may be influencing. And there are various ways to deal with those people, no? Call them for a discussion, have a conversation, understand. But not you can't stop all kinds of rumors and grapevine in the industry. Sometimes in the organization, sometimes it's okay to just ignore certain things.
Right, ma'am.
Sometimes people also say some grapevine is good. I have no answer to that, but it's okay. Some people will be there. If you feel they are troublemakers, it's okay. You can call them and tell them you're not supposed to do this. If they are not performing anyways, they will have to go. But if they are performing and doing this, of course, the only thing is to counsel them, have a word with them, and say that this is not in a good taste. Beyond that, you can't do it. But in an organization, we would like to believe in the goodness of people. We believe we go anything that we do in an organization with a belief that everybody is good and everybody would want to do well in their life and hence contribute to the organization. When they contribute to the organization, they will of course also earn good money, right? And they will do well for themselves. So that's the basic premise on which we work. Otherwise, the organizations will not be able to function if they keep doubting people.
Right, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any questions? I wanted to take a case if we had time. 25 minutes are still there. We can actually take up some small case study if we have. I'm just trying to see if there is anything else within 9 box which I have not covered, so that we don't keep discussing the same thing in every class. And this 9 prof script generally comes out of the system. So if you go to any of the assessment companies, they will have the 9 box script coming out automatically. But otherwise, the other organizations do it on Excel. And also, of course, it leads to talent pool, right? We know what to do with high performers, high potentials. Let's say we have a leadership pipeline. Okay, people who are one level below a particular level, we want them to go to the next level because they're performing well. They are having also a potential. We may put them up for a very, very prestigious kind of leadership development program in the organization. There are people who are mid performers. We may just want them to take their performance to the next level. So then whatever is required to be done. So there are within talent pool of an overall organization, there will be different talent pools to cater to different needs. And of course, like you all said last time, that it is required for succession planning. We know who are the people with potential. So then we accordingly, we know when somebody leaves, they are going to be they will be ready for the next role. But for them to be ready to the next level, what are the things, what are the development programs that they need to go through? Let's say a CFO is retiring. Okay, we know the next level person is ready for the role, but how do we prepare that person for a role in the 1 or 2 years that the person is going to be there? And this is just one example. It could be various other examples where you have one particular role, which is either the somebody is going to retire, or it's always, even if the person is not going to retire, there will always be attrition, right? Making sure that we have the talent pipeline ready and we keep developing people accordingly. Any questions, or should we take a case quickly?
Yes.
Okay, so question 5, there is one of the question papers I have got. I don't know which year it is. The year is not mentioned. You are working as head of HRD of a large manufacturing organization to meet up with the competition in the market. Your management is considering to introduce talent management in the organization aggressively. To this end, as desired by your general manager, prepare a detailed report regarding introduction of talent management in your organization, highlighting the following: importance of talent management, process of implementing talent management. Now, how many of you are there? I was just thinking if we can create groups, quickly have a discussion and then come back in the main room. Do you have this question?
We are 9, ma'am.
You are 9. So we can do 3, 3, 3.
Yes.
Yeah, you have this case with you?
Otherwise, quickly show that case in on screen. We will take a screenshot.
Sure. Can you see question 5?
Yes.
Actually, there is not enough time.
Yes, done, ma'am.
Just 15 minutes. Shall we do 10 minutes quick discussion and come back in the room? Is it okay? I wanted to create 3 rooms, like 4 rooms I've got created. Have you got the invite to join the room?
Ma'am, there is no one in the room number 1.
Madam, your voice is not coming. You are mute.
No, I realized that some of them did not join, so there is no point in doing the meeting room. Some of them are there, have joined, but did not really join the breakout room. So, for example, one of the rooms only Viswadeep was there, the other room only Mohini was there. There is one room where there was only Sunil. So we can't do a discussion with just one person. So let's utilize the next 15 minutes to answer your questions, I think, and then next time we will do a case. Or we can just do a general discussion now, open discussion, if that's okay.
Or we can work on this question 5 of the
Exactly.
importance of hand process. Yeah.
Exactly. I was saying that let's discuss question 5 right now, and next time we can do some other case study. Yeah. So who wants to start the discussion? So you have done the syllabus now. Okay. So as a case study, how will you write a case study? You are working as head of HRD of a large manufacturing organization. To meet up with the competition in the market, your management is considering to introduce talent management in the organization aggressively. To this end, as desired by your general manager, prepare a detailed report regarding introduction of talent management in your organization, highlighting the following. You have to prepare a detailed report regarding introduction of talent management in your organization, highlighting the following: importance of talent management and process of implementing talent management. How will you go about doing this? Who wants to start the discussion? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
You want to take 2 minutes to read the question again?
So, ma'am, in this particular example, we are competing with the competitors, and our management realized that we are somewhere not in the competition zone, or we could be out of competition. So that to match up the competition, our organization want to do some structural changes in the uh, designations, or to meet that competition gap, our organization want the introduction of talent management. This is what I could understood. So obviously, the importance is like that. Every person is designed to develop and deliver some kind of results. So each person, with respect to their desired skills and competencies, is able to deliver the desired result, which are in the favors of organizations, to generate the maximum profit and help to fulfill the vision and missions of the organization. So yes, talent management is important, and it plays its role. Thank you. Jagannath ji, you can go ahead.
I think we should always keep in mind the optimum utilization of our human resources.
Jagannath ji, your voice is not at all good audible.
Okay, I'm saying that optimum utilization of human resources should be the main motto of talent management for any kind of organization, whether it is a service organization or operations or product manufacturing, whatever. So we should always bear in mind this major factor. Whenever we are employing any kind of employee, we should be in a position to obtain the maximum output from that employee, whether it is in the terms of production, whether it is in the terms of service, or whether it is in the term of knowledge generation, whatever. Thank you.
So, Jagannath, we could not hear you. Your voice was breaking.
Yeah, maybe I am sitting at the Kalyan railway station, so that may be the reason. Sorry for that.
I don't know. I'm not sure if others were able to hear him. I could not understand anything.
So Undrila, Advani ji, Mohini, would you have something, Vishwadeep?
I'm not sure if they're there because Oindrila did not join. Mohini did not join. Mohini was there in the breakout room, but when I called out, she did not speak. Advani also did not speak. So Advani and Mohini, we haven't heard at all. They don't speak. So I don't know if they are there in the meeting. I mean, if they're there in the Zoom call, frankly. Okay, he's written, I am sitting on Kalyan railway station. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, so like you both of you, okay, Sunil and Jagannath said very clearly. Sure, Jagannath, it's okay. So basically, what is important is that anything that we do in the organization leads to the organizational. We help organization achieve the goals, right? So talent strategy helps the business strategy. Okay, if we align the talent strategy to the business strategy, it helps the organization achieve its goals. Number one. Okay, now to help the organization achieve its goal, what kind of talent management we should do in the organization? That's number two. So it's important to have right talent strategy in the organization, so which means optimum utilization of resources, etc. And so when we say optimum utilization of resources, which means we need to have optimum number of employees in the organization. What is the optimum? We are not saying maximum, or we are not saying minimum. What is the exact number of resources that are required, so that we don't end up spending too much, and also at the same time do not compromise by having less number of resources. You need to have optimum number of resources in the organization, not less, not more. Okay, so quantity. Then comes to quality of the people. Now this is about quantity. So in terms of quantity, when we want to have, what are the different processes by which we can look at the streamline the quantity in the organization? We hire, do a right hiring. Okay. Also making sure that there are transfers within the organization that happen, to make sure that the numbers are managed. So for example, there is attrition in one department, the other has the excess. Those people are moved from excess number to the place where there are less number of people. Now you will have to understand one thing. Any question that comes in the question paper may not have the right direct answer that you can have in the question paper, in the textbook. Some answers you will have to create. You cannot say, acha, we had read about importance, we had not read about the benefits. Somebody may say, we had read about the benefits, not read about the importance, right? So it is not possible that you will get ready-made answers. It is not possible. So we have to make sure that we have to create the answers also. Yeah. Just give me a moment. If you understand the subject well, you will be able to answer all kinds of questions. You understand this?
Madam, I want to share something in terms of response of importance of talent management. What actually I think, the importance of talent management is one. Another aspect is that to provide to continue the pipeline of leadership.
Yes.
So if I not manage the talent or the potential person or the employees, if I not project to them, then I can't prepare my pipeline of the further leadership for the next level leadership. I have to depend on some outsourcing. That's it. So outsourcing people may not be aligned to my culture of the company. Whether that's easier that the internal person or the employee may be who is aware of the culture of the company, and he may align their mission, vision, and the goals. So this is also important for talent management, is to providing the pipeline of the leadership. That's it.
In providing the pipeline is very, very important. Cultural aspects also needs to be taken into account. Sometimes you just need people. Okay, sometimes you just need people and there are no internal people available. You have to go to market and then hire from outside. Right? Sometimes you may want to hire in big numbers, sometimes you want to hire in less numbers. So making sure that there is like optimum utilization, there is number and the quantity and quality both you have to take into account. Whether we look at making sure that all the departments have not more, not less number of employees, and wherever required, people should be fungible. They should be able to be rotated. Now, not everybody can be rotated, right? Now, if I need somebody, a technical guy, just because in operations we have more number of people, I cannot transfer somebody from operations to IT. So there I will have to hire, and even if it means loss of productivity for those many days. Yeah. So I don't want to get too much into talent acquisition, but talent management also means that being very, very flexible. People are flexible to be moved across the organizations. Organization provides us an opportunity to grow and not a punishment for sending somebody out to Timbuktu. You understand what I'm saying? It's important that we do a good transfers. There is a term called talent marketplace, or job rotations, or internal talent market, many people call it. There are various branding that the organizations do. So having that quantity in place and the quality, of course, for quality, you will have to keep guiding them, mentoring them, coaching them, training them, developing them. So there are various aspects. So you could write about each aspect, right from hiring to training to succession planning and all of that, and the entire process. How do we go about doing it? So depending on the number of marks, you could answer. Any other answers? Anybody else who has answer? I want to answer this time. Yes, Jagannath.
Maybe with the little voice disturbance, but I want to put it in a rhythmic way. Talent management is meant for 3S, I put it: success, suction, and succession. Success of the organization, suction of the capabilities, and succession planning for the leadership. So we can put the importance of talent management in this way. Thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? Anybody else? You can draw a model if wherever required, a process of implementing talent management. If you have a model that you want to draw, you could draw that wherever required. But look at the question and then only appropriately you can draw. You want to show the entire talent management strategy. You want to show entire talent management process, right from talent strategy to sourcing to hiring, selection, developing, retaining and engaging, and then transitioning. You could show that also. Yeah, and key processes of talent management is the same thing. You are planning, attracting, selecting, developing, retaining, and transitioning. Transitioning meaning they will go out, or they will depart the organization, or they get promoted to the next level. All right. So any other questions? Yeah, I like the 3 words: success, suction, succession. Good, Jagannath. Any other questions, or are we good to close?
Yes, we can.
I think some people are just joining and they are not really listening. Okay, so I think it would be good if all of them join and attend.
But maybe they are only listening. That also.
I don't know if they are listening also, frankly, because when I put people in various breakout rooms, and when I joined those rooms, the people were not there. I mean, they were not responding. There was only one person. The second person did not join. So Sunil was there. I saw Biswadeep in one room. I saw Oindrilla did not join. So we can't have a good discussion if we case study. We need to have good discussion. Then only you will be, it will be interesting. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's do only cases next time. Unless you have any topic to be covered, I can do all topics. That's not a problem. But since the topics have been done, I think let's move to cases. Is that okay next time?
Yes.
Yes, sure.
So now the next class is not there next Sunday. Then we have 12th and 19th, last two classes. Yeah, we have 12th and 19th, last two classes. So please decide what you want to do in the next two classes. And let's make best utilization of time. Okay, my request to you would be to take good understanding of the concept. Right? Now, I can give you a lot of practical, whatever knowledge I have from the practical point of view. Okay, I can give you all of that, but in reality, we really go a lot in depth in real life. And for you to absorb that, this may not be the right time, and that may not be expected in terms of your answer to the questions. So I am trying to just give you what is appropriate for you at this level. And of course, I give you some insights that happens in the industry, right? So it would be good if you take as much clarity possible from me on the practical aspect. So when you understand the practical aspect, you are in a position to write the answer well, and not really, you are not really by hearting the answer. If you by heart, then it will be very difficult for you to put it down in the answer paper when you write the answer, because the question is different, slightly twist in the question, and you may get confused. So my request to you would be to get the fundamental clarity on the concepts at all in first place. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because everything else is there in the textbook.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So see you next time, and let's do case studies if you don't have any topics that you want clarity on. But if you want any topics to be covered, let me know now. Otherwise, of course, you can tell me next week also, so that accordingly we decide. So when we come next time, we're not again asking what do we want to do.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
sure.
I think the only thing that you wanted was 9-box grid, which we've covered. Let's do cases. I feel let's do cases in both the classes next.
Right, ma'am.
Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
All right.
Okay.
See you next Sunday. Thank you all for joining. Bye.